We're just gonna do our regular old live stream now. I got a lot of organizing to do. Little, keep some notes or something. So I'll wait for some of you guys to join. Yeah, looks a little dry. Wait for some of y'all to join. Hey there, pastry. So yeah, it's getting late. I've decided to just call it a night. I'm, too frustrated for this. So I'll try it out tomorrow, get some better instructions. Get those instructions I had the last time when I was actually figuring it out, The one issue I have is having it so I can see the chat on the game, on the screen when I'm gaming. Having it so you guys can see everything and hear everything correctly. I'm eating tamarind. I love tamarind. It's so good. It's also kind of satisfying to, let me turn that on. It's also really satisfying to peel because it has this branch-like membrane that just comes right off like that. I fully get that without a secondary monitor it can be held. Why don't I try, when I have time and I'm not as, frustrated and burnt out from it. I have another monitor. I have an Artist 22R Pro. It's a big monitor. So I'll set that up too. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. In fact, you could probably see the game better if I set up that other monitor, because it's a big screen. Still a little new to that too. Which is why I don't use it too much lately, because I'm intimidated by it. I should just go for it, because what have I got to lose, right? These have really hard pits, so I'm so glad that I chewed it ever so gingerly before I, when I got these for the first time. Because that could break a tooth if you're not careful. I like it when the shell just comes right off. Look at that little branch. This is a nice juicy one. These are tart and tangy and sweet, and look how this branch comes off. It's so satisfying, guys. Watch. Oh. Satisfying, man. I love them. It's probably one of my favorite snacks of all time. Partially because I love things that are tart, slightly sour, but really delicious, and they're fun to peel too. I like that little branch that comes right off of it. Those are from Thailand. Well, thank you, Joseph. How is everyone doing? I'll get back into the hang of it, guys. Been doing later live streams lately. Hi, Sebastian. Hi, Shake. Hi, Pastries. That's right. I don't know why people always ask that question, but it's like, whatever, I don't know. Just not very nice. I guess, that's the way people bully these days for some reason. How long have No, you know, screw off, Dev. Love your videos. Thank you, Joseph. Hi, Malik. War, is it? Hi, Kaylee. Hey, Rad Thad. I know you're... Okay. When you start playing the game, if you hit Alt, Enter, F1, it should automatically make your screen borderless. Okay, that's good to know. Here, let me take a screenshot of that suggestion there. Excellent. Save the screenshot. Huh, can you... Hey, Camellia, how are you doing? Shout out to Camellia channel. Because once you got it to borderless window, you can just drag it over to it. Yeah, you'd think that they'd have that kind of set up so that it's not so, you know, it just, none of this is obvious to anyone starting out. It's a maze of confusion, and it's frustrating when you really want to, you know, get it going. But it is what it is. We're figuring it out, you know? I mean, I know more about it than I did starting it, so it's like, it'll be good. It'll be good. There's just little things, little steps that I'm missing out on. It's getting pretty hard. Life is not living. Yeah, life has been pretty hard for a lot of people lately. I mean, just look how terrible things are in New York right now, man. People are really struggling there. Having their power shut off. Meanwhile, City Hall, they have their AC blasting at a comfortable, I don't know, between 60 and 70, depending on where you're standing in the building. Everyone else, they have to cool off by the fire hydrants, which subsequently makes the city polluted, highly polluted. Brown water. People are having to drink dirty water now. It's not cool. Not cool at all. It is hard, but you know, as someone who's dealt with addiction and certain other things in life, like eating disorders, and I'll just tell you what helps me out when I'm, you know, finding life rough and mean. I tend to, I find that it really helps to focus on what's gonna make me feel better about myself in the moment. Say, for instance, if I'm just laying in bed all day, I'll start to get depressed. I'll start to get down on myself, and my body will start to really ache from lack of motion. No matter how much resistance there is in my mind, I've got to, mind over matter, I have to get up, I have to start moving and get outside and get the sunshine. And then you realize once you're out there, once you're moving, once you're in motion, you're like, well, that's not so bad, was it? I mean, if I had stayed in bed all day, I'd still feel like shit, and I would feel worse about myself. Now I can, I feel much better. Yeah, this is so much better. I mean, I find that, when it can be really hard because, to get out of your comfort zone, but once you push yourself into that, into a different mindset, if you will, pushing yourself into a new environment is a good way to push yourself into a better frame of mind, I think. Keep moving, yeah. Human beings are meant to move. We're meant to move our bodies, guys. We're meant to, the human body is built for motion, for sure. Exercise is good, meditation's good. You know, practicing the things that you're good at, or learning a new thing to be good at. For instance, I'd like to, you know, be better. I'd like to be better at figuring out the software. That's on my agenda. As for practicing things that I love to do, I've loved to paint and draw since I was little. So, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. But with something like that, you get rusty if you don't do it. And it comes back to you very quickly if you get back into the mode of practicing and not expecting for every work that you know, every painting you work on to be perfect, especially when you're rusty, because it might take a little time to get back on your feet. Can I eat the first bug I find? Not unless you pay me, bro. Those are some special features, my friend. You should see Shando. He likes to eat moths. This is my dog Shando over here. You guys want to see him? Of course you do. Baby boy, this is sweetheart. Snicker boo balls. Whoops. Honey bears. Snicker boo balls. Hi. Hi. Are you just a baby? You just a snicker boo ball? You falling asleep? Oh my goodness, he's just a baby. He's just a sweet baby. Excuse me. Yeah, he's a big dog. He's a big dog. Shando's like 105 pounds, more or less. No, I would say he's between 100 and 105. Possibly less, because he's lost a little weight that he's needed to lose. You know, he has a propensity to put on pounds, that dog. But hey, I installed this thing into my motherboard, so I figured that out, no problem. All I needed was, you know, when it wasn't working, that one time I installed it, I asked my brother, hey, what do I do? And he told me, yo, you need this component. I needed one of these things. It's called a M.2 NVMe SSD online R/W. Okay. It's a clone thing. You clone it. Okay? You transfer information from one hard drive to another, basically. Very, very nice. Very nice. So I got that to work out. And we figured that out. You know, I thought that was going to be a pain in the butt, but I figured it out. So the OBS studio isn't going to be that bad. I have some notebooks. I can keep some notes, write some notes. Got to be careful about where I find my information, though, because I'm sure with software like that, they're changing the whole format every year practically. It wouldn't surprise me. So I got to be up to date with instructional videos I decide to watch. Because one time I watched a video for, you know, for instructions on that first time. Didn't bother to see when the video came out. And I think it was like a 5-year-old video or something. It was an old one. Too old. It needs to be this year. How do I remain sober? That's a good question, man. Well, out of sight, out of mind is a good principle that I hold in trying to avoid that stuff. I've been clean for 3 years and almost 4 months. And the longer I stay away from it, the better it is. Starting out, I found that weed really helped me because it prevents drug dreams. But these days, I need to be careful because if I wake and bake, I'm not going to get as much done, and hence probably why I'm here at this live stream later than I would be originally, you know? So, you know, it's... I need to be able to control my impulses, my compulsions a little better. Um, there's that. Meditation really helped me. Walking, lots of walking, and not walking anywhere near, where the whole drug scene is, where I used to have, stay away from those memories. Stay away from places that hold memories of your drug use, because that can be triggering. Focusing on nutrition, getting all my micros and macros, learning to cook new things, as I enjoy cooking, that kind of, the brain craves novelty, dopamine wants novelty, and it's a good way to expand neural pathways that lead to happiness, in my opinion. If you stay stagnant, then you're going to atrophy in one way or another. You're going to become stagnant and bored, and it's not a good way to go about living life. So I think learning a new, even if it's just a new vocabulary word every day, kind of, lights a little spark in your mind. It's like, oh, don't you feel good when you learn something new? No matter what it is, especially if it's something particularly interesting, it kind of rids you of that boredom a little bit, I find that my painting really helps me, but I'm just going to say early on in my recovery, you don't really want to work that much. So I'd suggest maybe not, if you want to get into something like painting or drawing, don't hold such high expectations of yourself. Don't expect yourself to, with oil painting, it's a lot of work. So try starting out easy with something like easy to transport, like watercolor or pastels, or even finger painting can be a very fun and visceral way to go about it. And video games. I really enjoy video games. Got to be careful, though, because if I'd really get into it and I can pull all-nighters. I played so many video games when I was playing Ghostwire Tokyo and Cyberpunk. I won both of those games, and I was pulling all-nighters and played so much that my feet and my ankles got super swollen. And I had to use like a little foot pedal machine to get the blood flow and everything, like lymphatic drainage or something. Forget what it's called. I like coffee during the day too, but you know what? Sometimes it makes me even more tired. Does coffee ever make you a little more tired sometimes? Sometimes I'll drink a cup of coffee, I just go right back to sleep, and I brew myself a cup with the intention of being awake, but sometimes it just makes me more tired. And I learned recently that people with ADHD some people with ADHD at least, tend to get tired when they drink coffee. I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong. That could have been misinformation I heard, for all I know. Where am I from? I'm from the USA. Any favorite 80s songs? Oh, I don't know. I have to think about that. There are a lot of really good artists from, that started out in the 60s that spanned through the 80s, and they still had really good songs. So I like the Rolling Stones, but I don't know if they're my favorite. My favorite, I like Elton John, and I like the Beatles, especially John Lennon, and I like Creedence Clearwater Revival. I like Tom Waits. I like, from the 70s especially. I like Hank Williams and Hank Williams Jr. And yeah, there's a lot of good music, man. There's a lot of good music out there. Michael Jackson's good. Jimi Hendrix is good. From the 80s, I would listen to anything Eurythmics. Oh, they're really good too. I like Linkin Park and Who's that other one? Who's that other one that I really like? Oh, I like Fiona Apple. She's good. ABBA. Duran Duran. I like Depeche Mode. Bob Dylan, of course. Neil Young. Chris Christopherson. Wasn't he in Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid? And that movie has Bob Dylan in it. That's a good movie. I think it might be the only movie where Bob Dylan, said yes to having a soundtrack for that for any movie. I could be mistaken about that though. Sorry, Tangent. No, you don't need to be sorry about anything. Hey, Snuffles. Copy doesn't do shit to me anymore. Nirvana. Oh, I love Nirvana. Smashing Pumpkins, My Bloody Valentine. I love them too. Wednesday, Mazzy Star. Pink Shiny, Ultra Blast. 9 Inch Nails. I love 9 Inch Nails. Queens of the Stone Age. Yes. Nice. You got some good taste. How's the puppy doing? Hey, Snuffles. He's doing good. Yeah, I just showed you guys Sandal. I'll show you again. He's asleep on the cool floor because it's hot. Let me get the little light there. Stairs. You see, he's all bunched up with his jowls. It's like rain. Do I like Journey? Yeah, I like Journey. I like some Journey. They play it too much though. It just becomes, when you overplay music, especially certain song in movies and especially commercials and shit, it starts to become kind of like elevator music. But I do like it. I do like it. I when I first heard them, I was going crazy over that band. Like that Journey was my favorite band when I was like 15. And I like Ozzy Osbourne. I like Ozzy a lot. I like Hellraiser, and I like No More Tears are my favorite songs of his. Pearl Jam's good. And I like Alice in Chains too. Are you kidding me with that Metallica is a Nickelback ripoff? Oh my god, I can't even with you. Yeah, Nickelback sucks, and I think most people are in agreement that Nickelback sucks. How can Metallica be a ripoff of a band that came after them? Exactly. There you go. Not only that, the band Nickelback sucks ass. I mean, to each their own, I suppose. To each their own. Not gonna be too harsh, but it's definitely not my cup of tea. Don't stop, believe. Thank you, Snuffles. Yes, please like and subscribe, guys. Here, let me share my information at the very least. Yeah, share my information. God, I need to organize this place. But I'm glad I got that figured out, the hard drive and everything. Okay, that's step one. It's like rain. Hi. Don't stop, believe. Oh, I love Fleetwood Mac. Okay, I don't even know the lyrics. it's raining. Oops. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Please like and subscribe, guys. We're having a short live stream, so probably not gonna, get too many tonight, but let's go, as they say. My Instagram, where you can check out my art and request commissions, would be Anna with 2 N's .Katrina Katrina .art. And my Discord, you can join the server, you can inquire about commissions and that stuff as well. It's emerald, like the gemstone, _wing _13473. I like Genesis, Phil Collins. Okay. I wish I could play some music. I don't know if I think I may have subscribed to YouTube Music, maybe. I'll double check. The Police is good. The Cure, I love The Cure. Oh, dude, the Dave Matthews Band. You know what they're actually known for? I'm sure you know. You know what the Dave Matthews Band is known for? Stevie Nicks did songs of Nickelback. That sucks. Anywho, so with the Dave Matthews Band, I forget where they were. I think it may have been Chicago. But they were riding a tour bus over a bridge, okay? And right under that bridge, a tour boat was just, was just floating on by under that bridge, just nearing the bridge, under the bridge. And as the boat's going under the bridge, the tour bus is, riding along the bridge. And some genius on that tour bus decided to unleash their septic tank, their okay. They unleashed. I'm trying to think of a funny term for a busload of shit, but nothing could ever prepare you for that sight. I'm sure the passerbys were just like, what the fuck? Because a whole septic tank full of crap from I don't know how long it was allowed to accumulate, just it all just pour on top of that tour boat. And there were a lot of people on that boat, and they all got covered in shit from the Dave Matthews Band. And here, let me look this up. Guys. Story time. In case you guys aren't aware, that's the only thing I ever think about when I think of Dave Matthews Band. I just think of shit because of that incident. Okay. Let's look her up. Ooh. Huey Lewis went deaf. I didn't know that. From Huey Lewis in the News. I like Huey Lewis in the News. But he went deaf. Wow. I mean, as a musician, that's gotta really suck too. Kind of like an artist losing their eyes, Dave Matthews Band tour. Dave Matthews Band. And first thing that comes up in the search engine is incident. Dave Matthews Band incident 2004. On August 8th, 2004, a tour bus belonging to the American rock group Dave Matthews Band dumped an estimated 800 pounds of human waste from the bus Blackwater tank through the Kinsey Street Bridge in Chicago onto an open-top passenger sightseeing boat sailing in the Chicago River below. The incident has been referred to as Poopgate in retrospective assessments. The members of Dave Matthews Band were not on or near the bus during the incident. Oh. The band's bus driver, Stephen Wool, initially denied dumping the waste and was supported by the band. However, he was later determined to be the only person on the bus during the incident in April 2005. He pled guilty to the dumping, and the band fired him without pay. Yeah, I would too. He fucked up their reputation. There are some people who think that the band was on the bus when it happened. In fact, I thought they might have been on the bus when it happened. It's good to know. It's not their fault. Like, God, dude. Like, people need to give these guys a break. They fired the guy. They did everything they should have done. As part of the band's 2005 legal settlement with the state of Illinois, in exchange for the band not admitting guilt to the incident in court, its members agreed to pay a $200,000 fine to fund environmental protection efforts and other related issues because of this guy they hired. This stupid, low IQ bus driver. They had to go to court. They had to pay up. Now the reputation is completely soiled, no pun intended, because of this one dipshit. Okay? They also donated $100,000 to two groups that protect the river and the surrounding area. God, man. Dave Matthews Band had booked rooms at the Peninsula Hotel at Alpine, blah, 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 Wisconsin. The incident occurred between the first and second night of the concert. The band booked 5 buses for its show. Stephen Wool drove the bus of the band's violinist Boyd Tinsley. During warm months, the Chicago Architecture Center offers a boat tour of buildings along the Chicago River. The boats have open roof seating where passengers sit during the tour. So yeah, it was just an open boat. Everyone was just sitting on like they were like, you know, kind of like the open Titanic. Lawn chairs out, people just chilling, and then, Martha, look up there. Dear Lord. Most of Chicago's bridges feature welded grating, which is used for its strength and anti-slip properties. Welded grating allows rain, snow, and other liquids to pass through, removing the need for complicated drainage systems or to salt the bridge deck during snow, and assuring it does not ice over in winter weather. Oh boy, this really goes into detail here. On August 8th, 2004, Wool was alone in Tinsley's bus and driving to a downtown hotel when he emptied the bus's Blackwater tank as it crossed the metal grates of the Kinsey Street Bridge. Passenger boat Chicago's Little Lady. Passenger boat Chicago's Little Lady was hosting the 1:00 p.m. Chicago Architecture Foundation tour of the Chicago River. While passing under the bridge, the boat received the full contents. The boat received the full entire contents of that tank, that 800 pounds. While passing under the bridge, the boat received the full contents of the tank on the seats of its open roof terrace. Roughly two-thirds of the 120 passengers aboard the tour boat were soaked. The boat immediately returned to its dock, where all passengers were issued refunds. Well, no shit. No pun intended. 5 passengers were taken to the Northwestern Memorial Hospital for testing. Yeah, I would too. According to the Illinois Attorney General, passengers aboard included people with disabilities, the elderly, a pregnant woman, a small child, and an infant. Oh, good grief. The filing describes the incident. The liquid waste was brownish yellow in color and had a foul, offensive odor. The liquid human waste went into passengers' eyes, mouths, hair, and onto clothing and personal belongings, many of which were soaked. Some of the passengers suffered nausea and vomiting as a result of the exposure to the human waste. I would too, dude. I'd vomit. The boat's deck was swabbed by its crew, and service was resumed for its scheduled 3 p.m. tour. Seriously? I would have taken the day off. I would have taken that day off, man. No ifs, ands, or buts. Imagine that, guys. All the contents in that tank, none of it missed that boat. And 2/3 of the poor folks on that boat got bathed in shit. And there were children, and it got in their mouths. So I want you to just be glad you're not that person. Because I'm sure he felt like shit. Man, I bet there's so many freaking jokes you could make for that incident, dude. Like, man, oh man, oh man. Crazy. Thank you, Kevin. I'm so glad I wasn't on that boat. I know, right? We're talking about music, and someone brought up the Dave Matthews Band, and that's the first thing that came to mind. The band wasn't on the boat, though. It was their bus driver. He was the only one there, and he thought it would be a good idea. I mean, he had to have known what he was doing. You know, he did that on purpose. And he did it because there were no bandmates around to tell him otherwise, you know? It's like... intrusive thoughts. It's an issue. It's the dilemma of intrusive thoughts, man. What are you gonna do? To do or not to do? You want to see if my hands are pretty? Well, I'm not answering to you, Xperia. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're an absolute jerk. You make me want to purposefully hide my hands, in fact. No, they stopped on the side of the road and did it. The bus driver of the Dave Matthews Band released his the whole entire band's septic tank of shit on their tour bus over a tour boat, over an open tour boat, and it hit the boat. It hit everyone in that boat practically, 2/3 of the people. 800 pounds of human waste. So there's that. But according to the reports, they say that the bus was driving when it happens, which I don't get that. Yeah, apparently it was. Bus was driving and it was just like, I don't know, something. Physics was not on their side, man. I just had dinner and I feel like there's stuff in my teeth. That's annoying. Let me see. It's okay. It's not that bad. Well, maybe he stopped very briefly on the bridge and just released it. I don't know, but that's what Wikipedia says. That's what every account I've looked up says. Let me look it up even further. But yeah, that happened. There was a whole, lawsuit and people getting paid up and all that. I mean, it did happen. Those people did get covered in shit, you know. So maybe he stopped on the bridge. I'm not sure. Um, how about I'll read to you the investigation. How about that? We'll read the investigation, and I'll put this at a better angle so you guys can see me better here. Okay. Immediately following the incident, the Chicago Police Department said it was investigating but did not yet consider the incident a crime. On August 9th, the Chicago blah 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 stated that a witness had recorded license plate information, which they submitted to the police as evidence. On August 10th, bus driver Jerry Fitzpatrick, who drove for the band, was identified as the owner of the bus's license plate. In a phone interview, Fitzpatrick denied to a Chicago Tribune reporter that he dumped the waste, asserting that he was parked in front of the band's hotel at the time. A publicist for the Dave Matthews Band issued a statement saying the band's management had determined that all of its buses were parked at the time of the incident. Fitzpatrick, who was in Effingham, Illinois at the time, instructed Sergeant Paul Gardner, blah blah blah, to inspect the bus's septic tank to prove that he could not have emptied it. Gardner reported to the Chicago Tribune over Fitzpatrick's cell phone that he inspected the tank and it was nearly full. State prosecutors worked with nearby fitness gym, blah blah blah, to identify the offending bus from the gym's security videotapes. On August 24, the Attorney General Lisa filed a $70,000 lawsuit against Stephen Wool, alleging that he was responsible for the dumping. Wool denied dumping the waste and was supported by the band. On August 25th, the mayor of Chicago held a press conference in which he released the videotape used as evidence. Daley, himself a fan of the band, expressed his belief that the dumping was absolutely unacceptable. In March 2005, Wool pled guilty to reckless conduct and discharging contaminants to cause water pollution. He was sentenced to 150 hours of community service, fined $10,000 to be paid to Friends of the Chicago River, an environmental organization, and received 18 months probation. The band itself donated $50,000 to the Chicago Park Districts, $50,000 to Friends of the Chicago River, and paid the state of Illinois a settlement of $200,000. It's a lot. The Dave Matthews Band agreed to keep a log of when its buses empty their septic tanks. Okay, so apparently it seems like they've lost track, and somebody's intrusive thoughts got the better of them. That's crazy, man. That's absolutely insane in the membrane. Especially with not knowing what chemicals they use to clean their system with. Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. I'm sure a lot of fish died in that water after that. Shit. Some people got paid. Hey, man. Hey. If that shit hit my pinky toe and I got paid $200,000, actually that got paid to the city. If I got paid like even $10,000, I would say it's worth it. It depends. Depends on where it hits me, man. If it hit me right in my face, right in my mouth, I would say that okay, I want $900,000 right up, straight up, $1 million right now. Kidding. I'd take whatever I can get, cause dude, that's lifelong trauma right there. That's lifelong trauma, man. That stuff happens in movies. That's the kind of stuff that happens to the bad guys in 90s movies, right? I remember there was this. I remember there in those like kids movies where the characters are drowning in mud. Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is one of them, and another one I think is Beethoven. It's like one of the old like 90s Beethovens about the Saint Bernard dog. The characters drown in shit or mud. But when I was little, I thought they were literally drowning in shit. The Chicago River is extremely polluted anyway. The city of Chicago dumped human waste in that river for decades. That doesn't surprise me. That's a good point. That's a good point, man. They don't care about the safety of their city. The mayor is absolute crap. He doesn't care about the safety of their city and its people at all. You know, same with California. Same with places like California and Minnesota and New York, you know. They got terrible leaders. I am an artist, yes. In fact, I'll show you the painting I'm working on right now. It's a painting of Christ. It's a work in progress. Let me show you. It's right here. Right here. I have it right here. It's wet, so I got to be really careful, and we'll show you. That's a portrait of Christ right there that I've been working on. Yeah. I'm loving how that's turning out. I might add a few touches, actually. A few touches to that, you know. One more session, and then I will definitely be done. Oh yes, and I have this oil painting of my best friend Adrian. He passed away a few years ago, and he was a good person. He was my best friend. Here he is right there. I don't know if you see very well. That's my best friend Adrian. Oil on panel. Alright, and then let me show you. I've got others, but I'd have to really, you know, go digging, and I'll show you the ones that are easy for me to whip out. And there's some of my favorites too, for sure. I post a lot of my artwork to my Instagram, by the way, so if you'd like to check out a lot of my artwork, it's on there. Here's a painting of John Steinbeck. It's charcoal and watercolor on paper. Just want to show you in such a way so that the light's not reflecting too much on it. But I really like how that one turned out. I painted that at my grandma's house. That's a very special one to me. So it's that one particularly is not for sale, and the Adrian's not for sale. But I sold the Jesus Christ painting, Jesus Christ. I've sold that one, and I'm always accepting commissions, very much so. I do watercolors and I do oil paintings. And we, you know, if you'd like to commission me, we can discuss it via Instagram or Discord. I don't know if the person who wanted to commission me for a Winston Churchill portrait will get back to me. I might want to try getting back. You know, I think they were taking a break, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll try getting back with them just to be certain. Thank you, K. Clark. Well, I think the government is corrupt pretty much everywhere. Yeah, I never said they weren't. You know, as someone, you know, who's an Oregonian, our government has sucked forever. And a lot of us never asked to live like this. It's designed to, you know, keep us down while they, you know, hoard all the power for themselves. You know, they don't want to pass the torch along. I mean, why do you think millennials, on average, can't buy their own house until they're like 49 years old? Most of us rent. You know, it's like, what's the point? If by the time I am able to have my own house, it's like 10 years till I can retire or less. You know, it's life's too short to have to live like that. And that's, you know, we live in a world full of selfish, power hungry, you know, liars, you know, people who lie, people who twist the truth, you know, and think we're stupid enough to just accept it. Like, I'm really disappointed in how these Epstein files have been handled, man. I really am. It's not cool. I'm your new subscriber. Thank you, Romario. I appreciate that, man. Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, this whole world runs on money, you know, and it can be a tool, you know, or it can be it can corrupt people, and you know, some people like to hoard it. It's more of a power trip in that, you know, you get to a certain point where, you know, yeah, no amount of money is gonna make things better or worse. You know, it's like once you get past the point where you're comfortably settled, you can buy what you want, you know. Once you get to the point where you're able to buy the world, basically, islands and shit, then it's like then it's, you know, you're going into power trip territory. You're you know, people like that who get to the point to where they've got hundreds of billions of dollars. They don't need all of that money. That's more money than they're going to need in their lifetime. It's more of a power trip at that point, you know. Life is definitely unpredictable. It sure is. I'm doing good, Jack. How are you doing? Watch the movie Good Luck. Have fun. Don't die. It's good. Okay. Let me see if they have it on Tubi. I'll see if that movie's free. Have luck. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. Okay, they don't have it there. They have Idiocracy though. That's a good movie to watch these days, you know? That's kind of, you know, our world is starting to reflect the theme of that movie for sure. Idiocracy. But yeah, they don't have that one. I guess you watch the movie. Ooh, they have Fun with Dick and Jane. I've always wanted to see that movie. Because I like Jim Carrey. Let's see. See if they have it on YouTube. Take me to the river. Drop me in the water. Oopsie. Sorry. Yeah, the government in America is perfectly biased now. It's more like a unibody that's pretending to be two different parties. Yeah. Jesus taught love and kindness, but people ruined everything. Yeah, well, that's why he had to die for our sins, man. Jesus is freedom and love. Exactly. Homes that used to be 75,000 in my area are now going for 325,000. What the F is wrong? What the F with literally a roof change and vinyl siding, yeah? Thank you, Snuffles. Yes, please like and subscribe, everyone. I appreciate it. Hey, I'm doing good. Okay, oh yeah, I was gonna check and see if that movie's on YouTube. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Okay, now I guess you gotta buy it. It looks fun though. When did that come out? Ooh, 2026. I wonder if it's by the same guy who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's what the title kind of sounds like, and that's a really good movie. It's got Michelle Yeoh, I think is her name. And it's such a good movie. I enjoyed that movie very much. It's one of my favorites, actually. Not my favorite movie, but it's one of my favorites. My favorite movies are Paris, Texas, Repo Man, that one I just mentioned, and I could probably name a few others that I really I like The Lion King, of course. That one I've always loved so much. I say if you are a good person, you should try getting more money. It needs to be in the right hands. Well, that's funny because it seems like the people who deserve it tend to not have much. And then the people who just, want to take advantage and take advantage of power and all that, they tend to accumulate a lot. And that's because that's, it is what it is. That's just the way the world's been for a long time. People busy chasing money, but they forgot to feed their own soul, yeah? Thank you, Frosted Cupcake. Like and subscribe, double tap. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, man. Yes, please like and subscribe, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting my channel. Can I be managing moderator to help filter trolls? I think I usually allow for people to be standard moderator, but I'll if I see you more often on this channel, I'll definitely consider it, because I've been rash and I've let people be moderator too quickly, and I'm not saying you would at all. You seem like a really nice person who's genuinely here to help support my channel. But I've had people pretend to, and then I've made them a moderator too quickly, and they tried to sabotage my channel, and they also sounded very stalker-like, and they're I'm not saying you do that, but that's why I'm careful. So I'll definitely reconsider when I as I see you on my channel more, and yeah, I appreciate it though. I'd love to make you my designate you as a moderator, I mean, but I need a little more time to consider that. Idiocracy is a great movie, and to think the studio tried to kill it when it first came out, yeah. And why do you think? They're trying to hide stuff from us, man. Well, they try to get Stanley Kubrick to edit the shit out of Eyes Wide Shut. And when Stanley Kubrick made that movie, his last film, he set up for himself in like London an independent studio so that he couldn't be bossed around by Hollywood, completely independent of them. But they still demanded that he get destroy a lot of that film. And he said no. Well, 6 days or so after creating that film, before it went into theaters, before anyone in the world saw it, Stanley Kubrick passed away. And so we can only suspect that something bad probably did happen to him. He, wouldn't surprise me at all if he was unalived by some powerful people who didn't want basically Bohemian Grove being exposed. Just to think, like, a few years ago, that whole, like, Bohemian Grove, Illuminati and all that seemed like a ridiculous, stupid conspiracy theory, but more and more and more with the Epstein files and everything is starting to, it's starting to come into the bigger picture. It's starting to, all the dots are starting to connect, and there are just too many coincidences, It's really creepy. I love Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's one of my favorite movies. It's so good. With Kate Winslet. Yeah. Well, Kevin, in case you need to know, I'm not a Democrat. I don't need to prove anything to you. I don't like it when people come on here and immediately assume what my political beliefs are. I voted for Trump. And so, it's just annoying. I think that there's a little bit of sexism behind that accusation, because you're assuming that all women must be airheaded liberals with bleeding heart liberals, and I'm not. And I know a lot of conservative women. Even though I worked in Portland, I had conservative friends, and half were women, half were men. I had like 4 conservative female friends and 3 conservative male friends. So, one of them got beaten for carrying an American flag near a protest in like 2017. Yeah. Unbelievable. When I was outspokenly liberal at one point in my life, I was never treated terribly by conservatives. I had conservative friends. I secretly agreed with them on a lot of things, most things, in fact. And but like there was just a point in time, right after like I got off the heroin and got clean, where I'm like, you know what, I don't care. I'd rather lose friends than forfeit my integrity. They're not my real friends if they're gonna cancel me because of a political belief. And all I said was, hey, I think I had Trump derangement syndrome, and here's why, basically. And so I was told I was a danger to my family. I was told I'm this, I'm that, NAZI, HITLER, that sort of stuff, like HATEFUL. Hey, they call me hateful and shit, just because I said I voted for Trump and that I'm a danger to my family. And they'd tell me all this stuff and then block me, not giving me a chance to respond to them. Like, just super rude, very cult-like, very manipulative. I love Titanic. That's a good movie. Ooh, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a good movie. And Trainspotting is my favorite movie that's based on, like, addiction, drug addiction and stuff. Yeah, money's not evil. It's a tool. Anything can be evil depending on how it's used. It's the person using it. It's not the money. Otherwise, you could just, say, Like you do something, you know, you commit a crime and it's about money, you can just say, hey, you know, it's the money's fault, not mine. The money made me do it. It wasn't within my control. It's like, no, we have to hold accountability. And money's just a tool. That's all it is. So that's all it is. Food prices are fluctuating so rapidly at my local supermarket. You literally have to bring an extra $1,000 each trip. That's crazy. Or $100, yeah. Yeah. They have gone up. I don't know what's going on. I've heard some places are better than others. We're not so good because we're so close to California, and I guess we're dependent on California for some of their resources, you know, and our governors over here on the West Coast and people over on the leaders over on the East Coast are being very stubborn, you know, judges and governors and mayors, they're all being very stubborn about you know, trying to being cooperative with the way Trump wants to do things. They want to let illegal immigration in here. You know, they don't care if young women get G-raped. You know, they deny the extent, like in Chicago, they deny the extent of how much crime there is down there, and they think it's like racist for anyone to want to make the city safer, which is just absolutely ludicrous. You know, their whole party is destroyed because it's all about, you know, going against Trump. That's it. They don't stand for anything but all they stand for is going against Trump. That's it. So anything Trump is for, they're against. Anything that Trump is against, they are for. You know, they have no principles, no integrity anymore. It's not about, you know, helping the lower class anymore. It's not about the disappearing middle class. It's not about that anymore. It's all about you know, going against Trump, lying about Trump, lying about conservatives, and flaunting, acting like they're victims over everything. They just want to be victims. They want a civil war. They want to be one of the oppressed. Why do you think that some like liberal white women are trying to convert to Islam, not knowing anything about how the women there are treated? And if they do, then it's willful. I mean, they're just in denial. It's willful ignorance, you know? It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. This is one reason why I can't stand modern feminism, because these guys are just hypocrites. They're absolute hypocrites. They'd make the suffragettes roll in their graves. I appreciate and honor the suffragettes who made it so that, you know, I can have my own credit card and leave a violent husband, or, you know, it used to be really bad for women. You know, I mean, I'd be a feminist in that regard. But in terms of like modern feminism, it's retaliation. It's not about equality. You know, it's like the way the left is trying to bring racism back too, but you know, it's by trying to retaliate and you know, make the lives of white people miserable. You know, guilt shaming them and everything like that. You colonized us, so we're gonna colonize you. Well, now, you know, it's kind of the same thing with modern feminism. Like, you oppressed us, so now we're gonna try to oppress you. How do you like it? And that's not equality. That's I mean, even back then, I'm sure there were some men who hated the way women were treated and wished things could change, but they weren't like powerful enough to affect any change, you know? It's like, just because I live near Portland or whatever doesn't mean I'm liberal or that I chose for this state to vote the way it does. But it is, you know, you can't control you know, what a majority, or you know, what very powerful people do. If it's just, you know, if I'm the minority in this state, pretty much. And I'm always tickled pink when I actually go into town and people compliment my MAGA hat when I wear it. I don't really wear it very often because I don't want to get hurt. And that's really telling, man. If you gotta be afraid of getting hurt, of getting violated by someone because you're wearing a hat, you know? Blair White wore a MAGA hat in LA and she got attacked. She, you know, someone threw a drink in her face and then started, like, you know, actually hitting her and stuff. Hey guys, to save people who haven't traveled, don't. Sorry, I get a little behind here. He never wanted to take away from disabled people's benefits. Anybody who believes that did actually read the bill. That's true. And also with a lot of these things, such as cutting funding on, like, education or like treatment services and stuff like that, it's because he wants to dismantle and rebuild it, because a lot of it is super corrupt, and a lot of the funds for a lot of these charities are going to very corrupt elites running them. You know, of course, MSN. Wait, didn't MSNBC change their whole entire name because they sucked so much? Let me see. I forget what they changed it to, because their ratings were just so low. Yeah, places like CNN. Of course, these people watch those news channels, and of course, they're gonna hear whatever they want to hear. You know, it doesn't matter. The truth doesn't fucking matter. Truth doesn't fucking matter to these people. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, that's why they keep calling him Hitler, even when he's nothing like that. You know, we have presidents from back when, you know, committing crimes against women, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and they have nothing to say about Obama, deporter-in-chief, or with the drone strikes there. They have nothing to say about that. They have nothing to say about, they just hate Trump. It wouldn't matter if he were a saint, you know? It wouldn't matter. They hate his personality. And a lot of these liberal elites knew from the get-go that Trump would be the whistleblower and that he'd expose them, which none of these people want. I mean, that's why a lot of these celebrities that hate Trump, they used to love him. They used to, like, Oprah loved Trump at one point. They invited him on The View and loved him. But as soon as he wanted to be president, it's like, because he's talked about exposing these people in the past, and they know it. Now he's a threat to them. I can't believe people can't see it. It's a very vindictive culture, yeah. He didn't continue anything. He is finishing the war Iran started with America how long ago? Exactly. Not only that, but he's disarming them. He's disarming them. They're blowing up our commercial vessels, guys. You know, they're going out onto the water and just blowing up random commercial vessels. You know, their whole regime, their whole manifesto is about death to America. It's just so cringe, these far leftists who hate America and who want us to become like a communist third world country, not knowing anything about how they treat women. They got it, and if you try to inform them, they tell you that you're full of it, that you're lying, that there's no such thing as, like, honor killings. Like, no, you can actually find footage of women being grabbed and thrown into some windowless van. There's footage of this. You can find it. Like a young woman being thrown into a windowless van because she wasn't wearing her hijab right. Her veil was just a little bit askew. Disgusting. These are men who see women as cattle. They see us as nothing but cattle. Without our own thoughts, our own feelings, or you just say we're not human to them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for keeping the police strong and well. We shouldn't have bad cops, weed those out. In any organization, in any group of people you have, in any community, you're going to have some bad apples, bad eggs. It's ridiculous for people to say, defund the police, get rid of the police, because there was one bad one that did something stupid, right? It's ridiculous. There's a problem of corruption in the USA, particularly places where evil leaders are allowed to reign, like Mom Dummy in New York, like Tim Waltz in Minnesota, like Gavin Gruesome in California, like Tina Kotek or Kate Brown in Oregon. You got some really, really corrupt people here, man. Seattle, I don't know who the governor of Seattle is. I just know Seattle's very corrupt. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chicago, they don't care about the people's safety. Trump's tried to help them, but they refuse. They want to be sanctuary cities, and therefore, if everyone's able to just, drop anyone they want into our country, anyone's able to come in, criminals will come in too. And that's why we have this huge surge of G-grapes, especially in places like the UK and France. It's really bad there, It's like, it should be, you shouldn't be able to cross over our border illegally. You should respect, if you want to come to America, you have to respect America, not bring your culture into our country, You can practice it within your home, but don't try to force it down our throats, because we're a Christian nation, and if you don't like it, then suck it. Go back home. Go back home. We're not going to implement Sharia law here. We're not having that. We're not going to start treating women the way you do over there. We're not having that. A lot of people in those countries wish that things could go, like in Iran, wish that things could go back to the way they were before things changed in the 70s, when people were treated like normal human beings, ergo women were treated like normal human beings back then. They could wear their hair down, they could just wear what I'm wearing now or whatever, They could go about and be normal, live free lives. But some evil came into power and decided that women are nothing but cattle to be abused and used and assaulted at every turn. And if whatever a woman has to say in court to defend herself is like half the worth of what a man would say in court. So I mean, if you're a woman, you're basically screwed. You're basically screwed if you live in one of those countries. You will always be screwed. It's ridiculous that there are some left-wingers here who think that that's okay. Who think it's like racist for anyone to be against that. There are Islamic, like ex-Islam women, who used to, live in those in that country, practice that religion, all that stuff, and they converted to Christianity, And they, you know, they basically debunk a lot of the lies that are being told by some of the people on the far left and certain like white women who think that it's good that women are treated well there. They're not. And some of these women who actually have experience in that culture inform them of the ridiculousness of their statements, you know, debunking every lie as they go along. it's it's crazy. It's like women, all for instance, Allah, according to Allah, women shouldn't be able to yawn. Allah doesn't like yawning, apparently. According to a former Muslim woman. Yep. Or, you know, former Islamic woman. She apparently it's bad to yawn. You can sneeze, but you can't yawn. And there are other rules too, which are ridiculous. Women aren't allowed to go outside. They're not allowed to laugh. Men in those countries get very angry when a woman laughs in public. How dare she hold her chin up and laugh and be happy? Yeah, well, I'd like to know where I found this video because it's crazy. Of course, I don't want to get copyrighted, but let me look this up. Rules Islamic women have to follow. Wow, dude, like, it's sometimes really hard to find accurate information online, because when you just Google it and you look at the AI overview, you can tell it's absolute bullshit, because they're trying to really sugarcoat what a woman's role in Islam is. They're really trying to sugarcoat it. It's disgusting. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. It's all pro, it's pro Islam, everything it's like as soon as I Google it, people don't question that. They think, oh well, if it's up there on Google, it must be true. You know, for a long time it used to be that I'd type president into the search engine, and this would be Facebook, this would be anywhere pretty much. I'd try president and then T, nothing. R, nothing. I can't just like click the, like the space bar and finish the sentence. Nothing. I put in president, and immediately like Obama and Biden and maybe Clinton shows up, but no Trump. Okay. Space, T, nothing. R, nothing. U, nothing. I have to type Trump in myself manually because they refuse to, you know, put his name in, you know, have his name in the search engine. And I think they may have changed that now. But it used to be for a while, you know, even after he got elected. Like, they're really trying to make it, they're trying to control what we see. Unbelievable. Okay. How are women treated in Islam? Wow. They're really trying to sugarcoat it. I mean, all the websites are like the Queen Institute for Islamic Research, and there's Arab Center, Washington, D.C. And they're all saying that women have rights. No, bullshit. No, 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 no. Best thing you can do is go to YouTube and look up women who used to be part of Islam and how they were treated, and listen to their accounts. That's where you're going to hear the truth. You can't get the truth by Googling shit anymore, because they're going to curate that to brainwash you. Absolutely. We're not having that. We're not having that. Let's see. Oops. Anywho. So let's, on that note, guys, please like and subscribe. Let's try to get it to at least 100 likes before we end the live stream, yeah? I appreciate you guys. But I'm going to end it by reading the Bible. We're going to end this live stream by reading the Bible. Am I on drugs? No. Oh, thank you, Snuffles. Democrats always try to say that Republicans are white supremacists when they are the ones that created white supremacy in this country. They are so delusional they forget their history. Precisely. Audrey Hepburn eyes. Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I wish my eyes were as big as hers. He's got big brown doe eyes. But thank you very much. I've got, I don't have man hands. I have very knobby knuckles, though. I got knobby knuckles, guys. I don't know. It's probably because I work with my hands constantly. And I've really banged them up. I remember, though, at a family, like at Christmas time when I was a little kid, my mom held my hand up in front of the family. And she's like, isn't she going to have really beautiful hands? I wish I had hands like hers. She got her hands from her dad's side. Little did she know I'd fuck my hands up with, the drugs. I injected into my hands when I couldn't find any veins left. And I regret that very much. I used to have veins in my hands. Now they're just like, sometimes they even get a little puffy from lack of circulation. I gotta kind of exercise them, move them, get the blood pumping, They are beautiful hands. Oh, thank you. You should see Keith Richards' knobby knuckles. He has arthritis now, which is why they had to cancel their tour. The Rolling Stones had to cancel their tour because of Keith Richards' arthritic hands. True story. Their most recent. Let me show you what his hands look like, though, because with Keith Richards, they look cool, though. You can tell these are hands that tell a story, like hands that have played the guitar for so long. I read his autobiography, Life, and when he was just a little kid, I forget how old exactly, a little kid, okay? He saw a guitar up on the wall, and he's like pointing to it, and I forget exactly what he said, but something related to that guitar became his first words, and that's when he became obsessed with music and got his first guitar from, I guess, his uncle, I think. Hi, any new wave 80s songs? It's been a long time since I've listened to new wave 80s music. I mean, when I think of that, I think of like Blondie. Oh, I like who sang Love Shack? I like that song. Oh, I like new wave. My favorite new wave is Talking Heads. I like the Talking Heads a lot. I forgot to mention them before. Take me to the river, drop me in the water. Take me to the river, drop me in the water. Don't ask. The B-52s, thank you. I like them. I like them a lot. Okay. See what I have in my music playlist on my channel. I need to add more music to it. Sometimes I forget. Okay, careful, I don't want to get copyrighted. Okay, I've got some the Rolling Stones. I've got Slipping Away by the Rolling Stones. I've got Going Home by the Rolling Stones. I got Fiona Apple, Fast as You Can. Fiona Apple, Shadow Boxer. I got Stray Cats, Strut. I've got Carmelita by Warren Zevon. I got Peter Murphy, The Scarlet Thing in You. I've got some Bob Dylan. I've got some John Lennon. I got Harry Nilsson. I've got the Hilltop Hoods. I've got some Ben Folds. I got Linkin Park. I got Post Malone. B-52s. Toby Keith. Oh, yes. Willie Nelson. I love Willie Nelson. Got the Dire Straits. They're good. Would you call that new wave? I like the Dire Straits. I got System of a Down, Paula Cole, Jeff Beck. I like Jeff Beck. Betty Davis, Eyes. The first one, Jackie DeShannon. I got Taco, Putting on the Ritz. I got Starship. Dion, I Aim to Please. I've got Herb Alpert. I love Herb Alpert, guys. I've got REM, Losing My Religion. Soul Asylum, Runaway Train. Tom Waits, Fumbling with the Blues. Spirit in the Sky, by Norman Greenbaum. I've got, what else do I have here? I've got Macy Gray. I've got Lou Bega, Mambo number 5. I've got Kylie Minogue, John Paul Young, Leonard Cohen. I love Leonard Cohen, guys. So Long Marianne's one of my favorite songs. I've got Iggy Pop. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he's one of my top favorites. I love Iggy Pop. I like, my favorite song of his is Edge of the Night. It's a beautiful song. Edge of the Night. I've got Eminem. I love Eminem. Billy Joel. I've got The Hollies. Elton John, one of my top favorites. Empty Garden by Elton John. George Harrison. I love George Harrison. Just the Beatles in general. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have in my music. I need to add more music to my playlist here. But yeah, got a lot of music I like. That's that. Anyway. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight. Losing my religion. Trying to keep up with you. But I don't know how to do it. Oh no, I said too much. I haven't said enough. Did consider this. It's a good song. It is. Gee, I've never been to Coachella in my life, and I don't think I ever would want to, unless I were like stinking filthy rich. You know, if you're one of the majority going to Coachella, meaning people, you know, even if you're like middle class, you know, you're not going to be able to afford a good place to stay. I'm not sure if they get like Airbnb or if they have the cabins set up or whatever, but I've heard you got to all stand in line to go to the bathroom, the little outhouse. And a lot of people just shit in the bushes, so the whole place smells like absolute shit because they can't wait out in that hot, dry sun. I've heard a lot of bad things about Coachella, guys. I would never want to go. Never, never, never. I would be so mad at myself if I went, wasting all that money for that, and you hardly get to see the artist. And all if you're not rich as fuck, and it's I've heard that via Sloan, who went there, he said that it was like really trash. Like people acted like trash. People were fighting. People were just very uncouth. Hi, Vilmer. Yeah, I'm just gonna hide that person. I don't need that kind of spam. By the way, my phone is dying and it's almost 10:30 p.m. So I'm gonna read some Bible verses now. We're gonna read 5 and then we're gonna end it, okay? Cause yeah. And we'll try to get a better start tomorrow. Longer live stream. We'll see. So let's open it up to Lamentations. We don't read Lamentations very much. Chapter 3. Let's see how long chapter 3 is. Yeah, okay. Read a bunch, a good chunk of chapter 3. Okay. I am the man who has seen affliction under the rod of his wrath. He has driven and brought me into darkness without any light. Surely against me he turns his hand, again and again the whole day long. He has made my flesh and my skin waste away, and broken my bones. He has besieged and enveloped me with bitterness and tribulation. He has made me dwell in darkness like the dead of long ago. He has walled me about so that I cannot escape. He has put heavy chains on me. Though I call and cry for help, he shuts out my prayer. He has blocked my ways with hewn stones. He has made my paths crooked. He is to me like a bear lying in wait, like a lion in hiding. He led me off my way and tore me to pieces. He has made me desolate. He bent his bow and set me as a mark for his arrow. He drove into my heart the arrows of his quiver. I have become the laughing stock of all peoples, the burden of their songs all day long. He has filled me with bitterness. He has sated me with wormwood. He has made my teeth grind in gravel and made me cower in ashes. My soul is bereft of peace. I have forgotten what happiness is. I say, gone is my glory and my expectation from the Lord. Remember my affliction and my bitterness, the wormwood and the gall. My soul continually thinks of it, and is bowed down within me. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul that seeks him. It is good that one should wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. Let him sit down in silence when he has laid it on him. Let him put his mouth in the dust. There may yet be hope. Let him give his cheek to the smiter and be filled with insults. For the Lord will not cast off forever, but though he cause grief, he will have compassion according to the abundance of his steadfast love. For he does not willingly affect or grieve the sons of men. Sorry. You see, I got a little dyslexia. For he does not willingly afflict or grieve the sons of men, to crush underfoot all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man in the presence of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause. The Lord does not approve. Let's see if I skipped a page there. Make sure. There we go. Who has commanded and it came to pass, unless the Lord has ordained it? Is it not from the mouth of the Most High what good and evil come? That good and evil come? Why should a living man complain, a man without the punishment of his sins? Let us test and examine our ways, and return to the Lord. Let us lift up our hearts and hands to God in heaven. We have transgressed and rebelled, and thou hast not forgiven. Thou hast wrapped thyself with anger and pursued us, slaying without pity. Thou hast wrapped thyself with a cloud, so that no prayer can pass through. Thou hast made us offscouring and refuse among the peoples. All our enemies rail against us. Panic and pitfall have come upon us. Devastation and destruction. My eyes flow with rivers of tears because of the destruction of the daughter of my people. My eyes will flow without ceasing, without respite, until the Lord from heaven looks down and sees. My eyes cause me grief at the fate of all the maidens of my city. I have been hunted like a bird by those who were my enemies without cause. They flung me alive into the pit and cast stones on me. Water closed over my head. I said, I am lost. I called on thy name, O Lord, from the depths of the pit. Thou didst hear my plea. Do not close thine ear to my cry for help. Thou didst come near when I called on thee. Thou didst say, do not fear. Thou hast taken up my cause, O Lord. Thou hast redeemed my life. Thou hast seen the wrong done to me, O Lord. Judge thou my cause. Thou hast seen all their vengeance, all their devices against me. Thou hast heard their taunts, O Lord, all their devices against me. The lips and thoughts of my assailants are against me all the day long. Behold their sitting and their rising. I am the burden of their songs. Thou wilt requite them, O Lord. Requite them, requite them, O Lord, according to the work of their hands. Thou wilt give them dullness of heart. Thy curse will be upon them. Thou wilt pursue them in anger and destroy them from under thy heavens, O Lord. That's a good one. That's a very good one. You know, I had Bible bookmark somewhere around here. I'll find it somewhere. Got a little room around here. Okay, let's read 4 more, okay? Please like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. Got any suggestions? Do I have... This is my channel. This is the channel. I just changed my URL. That's it. It's still Breaking Habits is the channel name, but I changed my URL from Diary of a Recovering Addict to Tangent Tea because it's more accurate. It's more accurate. It's not as long. It's funner to say. And we talk about more than just addiction. We talk about the Bible here. We talk about art. I sell art. We talk about video games and other just random things. And yeah, I mean, starting out here, I tried to, figure out OBS Studio a little further. I'm trying to make it so that I can see the chat while I'm gaming, and I need to start fresh tomorrow. I got the hard drive and everything set up though, so got something done today. Oh, thank you, Dells. Hey, Vilmer. Okay, 4 more, guys. John chapter 16, verse 22. So you have sorrow now, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take your joy away from you. Amen. Gonna read 3 more. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 2. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. Ooh, here's a good one. In fact, yeah. Chapter 11, verse 2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Here we go. Psalms, chapter 121. We'll read the whole chapter. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. The Song of Ascents of David. Why don't we read Psalms chapter 1? And then one more after that, and then we'll call it a night. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so, but are like chaff, which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. And the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and his anointed, saying, let us burst their bonds asunder, and cast their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord has them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath, and terrify them in his fury, saying, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree of the Lord. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Now, therefore, O kings, be wise. Be warned, O rulers of the earth. One more. Well, hey James, that I read the Bible at the end of every live stream, but to be honest, this live stream is pretty random. For the most part, it's a recovery and addiction live stream. We talk about recovery and addiction. I was a heroin addict. We talk about ways we can change our habits for the better, how we can, live our lives so that our minds are happier. And I also sell paintings. I'm also a painter and an artist. So I have my Instagram down here. That's where I post a lot of my artwork. So in case you're curious, it's not just a Bible live stream. It's we do this at the end of the live stream. I'll have like a 4-hour live stream or so on average, and we'll talk about recovery. We'll talk about addiction and how we get through it, and how we combat cravings. I talk about painting. I talk about video games. I love video games, and I'm starting out the stream. We're trying to figure out OBS Studio. I got a hard drive installed into my computer and all that, and so now I can play games, with you guys, and do all that. But I got to figure out that software, and it's been really difficult for me. But yeah, it's we got a lot of variety here. I was a child who wasn't really raised with social media, so I've only had barely 2 years with it, with me being almost 20. Well, that's good for you, man. You're lucky. You're lucky. I don't, if and when I have kids of my own, I do not want for them to have social media until maybe they're 16, I'd rather they were reading real books and feeding their brains and stretching their minds, because this generation, especially the younger generations, are becoming really depressed because of this instant gratification culture where everyone's doom scrolling all the time. That can't be good for your brain at all. So you're lucky, man. You're very lucky, in my opinion. Yeah. It can melt people's brains, it's they really try to control how we think, the algorithm, the search engine, it's hard to find the truth. When you look up like how are women treated in Islam, and they sugarcoat everything and try to make it seem like women are treated good there. Unbelievable. That almost pissed me off. Doesn't surprise me, though. Doesn't surprise me. In computers, hit me up if you need PC help. Kids need Ronald Dahl. Yeah. Hey, Michael. Are you friends on Discord? Have you joined my Discord? I'm not sure if I'd be able to recognize unless I saw Michael Scott Shirtleaf on there. But yeah, I have my Discord here. I'd love to talk to you about discuss any issue I'm having with OBS Studio. It's kind of like a math problem for me, it's going along well, I'm following the instructions, and suddenly I can't find what I'm looking for, or I've missed a step and I can't figure it out because I'm like, I gotta like start over and like brush the whole slate clean again. I only know enough from listening to accounts from women who have lived under Islamic regimes in Islamic countries and have been forced to wear the hijab and forced to, obey their husbands lest they get punished severely. I've listened to other women's accounts who've had experiences in those countries. So I think I know enough. And I've heard Islamic men talk about how they think women should be. There's a whole ass podcast with like three Islamic men, and they're like saying women shouldn't be out in public. Women shouldn't be laughing in public. Women aren't allowed to do this and this and that. Women, oh yeah, women have to be hidden under a rock, basically. Otherwise, other men are gonna lust over them. Women are seen as animals over there. And there are a lot of citizens over there, a lot of Islamic citizens who don't want to live that way. It wasn't like that before, things changed in the 70s. They have evil leaders and a system which, unfortunately, people there, especially the men there, really propagate that system and, want it. But, there are Islamic men who don't want to treat women that way, I'm sure. But yeah, listening to women tell share their accounts, I think they matter. Now, I think a lot of people misinterpret the Bible when it comes to them talking about men and women and stuff, you know. And if there's any, I follow the teachings of the New Testament. The New Testament, they honor women and men as both being equal and made in the likeness of God. Jesus is freedom. Jesus Christ is freedom and love. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, we're both made in the image and likeness of God. Women aren't deemed animals or possessions. If feminists fought for the rights of Islamic women and things that actually matter, then I probably would be a feminist. But you're all hypocrites. You don't care about women's rights. You don't care. You don't care if all of our trophies get taken away by people who, claim to be women. It's just the truth. And I'm not saying trans people don't exist, but you do have people taking advantage of it, making it a fad, and making the whole community look bad. You have a lot of people trying to shove it down children's throats and children acting like it's a fad. And then you have a whole bunch of them detransitioning. You think that's okay? Or am I misinformed on that too? Because I don't think I am. I think Blair White knows everything that's going on in that community, and I follow her. I really like Blair White. And I know a lot of trans people in my life. That's why I really care about that topic. And I also don't like all the misinformation and lies and what's going on with children and how they're, it's like, Oh yeah, if a man in prison decides that he's a woman, he can just transfer to a woman's prison. Doesn't matter if his whole record is SA against women, and that's basically all of them. All the men who want to say that they're women, suddenly you look at their record and it's all crimes against women. And Kamala Harris wanted to make it so that that was a thing, so that men could just do that. Sick. And why don't we see it the other way around? Like with women's sports and stuff like that, men's sports. Why don't we see women trying to transition into men so that they can compete in men's sports? Because you'd think that, like, well, here's the thing. Men's sports get more attention than women's sports. That's just the way it is. Men's sports get way more attention. You look at people watching the game, you usually see them watching guys play, right? You don't usually see dad in the living room watching the WNBA. You just don't usually see that. I like to watch, women's sports. I actually find it more enjoyable myself because I can imagine myself being on the field and competing when I'm watching that, It's a little more it feels more attainable, like go girl, But no, they don't care if anything happens to women's sports. They don't think it's a serious issue at all. If 900 of our trophies went to people who just suddenly decided women, how come we don't see people like trans men wanting to be in men's sports? Good, it's a little question to ponder. It's a little question to ponder. But you see, if I ever bring up these issues, some of these libtards, if you will, come out and call me hateful, call me bigot, call me phobic this and phobic that, and it couldn't be further from the truth. It's unbelievable. I'm pro the rights of women and children, I do respond to comments. I'm always responding to comments. I'm just busy talking. I can do whatever I want on my channel, dude. Seriously. I can do whatever the F I want on my channel. If I'm like doing art or cooking or playing video games, of course I'm gonna miss some comments, dude. I only started live streaming since mid-January. My channel's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's gonna become more and more impossible for me to read every single little comment. Expecting me to do that is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You waste my time. Why are you here? Why are you here, Ismail? Why are you here if I'm wasting your time? You have a choice to just get off my live stream, Am I going to live rent-free in your head tonight? Anyway, let's read one more and end the live stream, okay? I did say I was going to end it at like 10 o'clock. It's almost 11 now. And my phone is almost dead. Where are we at here? Yeah, it's at a 10% battery life. John chapter 15, verse 3. 3 to 6. You are already made clean by the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me you can do nothing. 1 second. Oh, yeah. Ha 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 ha. I'm telling you to open up my buttons, babe. Let's see. I want to keep reading the Bible a little bit just to spite that person. Let's read some Psalms. I'm back. Hey, James Perry. Habit, I got question. Sure, man. You can ask a question anytime. You don't even have to ask, man. You don't have to ask if you can ask a question. You can just ask a question. Absolutely. Why dose Donald Trump doing all bad thing? Not everything that he's doing is bad. I think he's doing a really good job with the border and making America safe again, and other things, various things. He's doing a good job keeping us safe from, trying to keep us safe from terrorism. However, I'm kind of disappointed with how the Epstein files are being handled. I have criticisms there. I'm pretty disappointed with how the Epstein files are being handled. But there's a lot of lies going on around about him. It could be due to several factors. The redactions are a joke, in my opinion. But there's a lot of national security and CIA and, a lot of people kept quiet about that for so long, even though it spanned 4 presidencies. This whole, these corrupt elites doing terrible things has been going on for a long time, spanning 4 presidencies or so. And it's because people are afraid to speak up, There's a point in time where, even now, if you speak up about these things, your life is at risk. Cat Williams is going around talking about the Illuminati and stuff I love Cat Williams, by the way. He's going around being a whistleblower but also hinting that this, you just, take a good look at me now, everyone, because this might be the last time you ever see me talking about this stuff. He's scared for his life. When you blow, when you're a whistleblower and a few people have been, a lot of them disappear, when it comes to these really powerful people. So I don't know if Trump is trying to protect his family, or what, but the CIA is involved, and national security, and all these other things that connect. I've heard that the entire system as we know it could crumble to the ground if everything was exposed. But I think that would be a good thing. I think we need to dismantle it and rebuild it if it's built on hurting children, child trafficking. That type of system shouldn't fucking exist in the first place. It needs to be exposed, and that's why I'm very disappointed in that. Yeah. Oops. Let's see what. 31. Chapter 31, verse 25 here. Let's see. Psalms chapter 31, verse 25. Or no, 24. Be strong and let your heart take courage, all you who wait for the Lord. Oof. So I'm gonna look for some good verses. Did I spell this? No, I didn't spell that right. There we go. What's up, dog? This lady is probably... Hey, Vilmer. No, I'm reading the Holy Ignatius version of the Bible because I'm Catholic. Okay, let's see here. $209. That would be chapter 4, 4 to 5. Oh, there it is. Chapter 4? Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Judges chapter 4, 4 to 5. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was judging Israel at that time. She used to sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the people of Israel came up to her for judgment. She sent and summoned Barak, the son of Abinoam, from Kedesh and Naphtali, and said to him, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go gather your men at Mount Tabor, taking 10,000 from the tribe of Naphtali, from the tribe of Zebulun, and I will draw out Sisera, the general of Jabin's army, to meet you by the river Kishon with his chariots and his troops. I will give him into your hand." Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go." And she said, "I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, the road on which you are going will not lead to your glory, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman." Then Deborah arose and went from Barak to Kadesh, and Barak summoned Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and 10,000 men went up at his heels, and Deborah went up with him. That's a good one. There are a lot of very strong, influential, significant female figures in the Bible, and anyone who says there isn't is a liar or ignorant. She is clothed with this is Proverbs chapter 31 verse 25. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. This passage outlines a woman of noble character who works diligently and approaches life with wisdom. How about Luke? Luke, I am your father. 18, 1 to 8. Excuse me. And he told them a parable to the effect that they ought always to pray and not lose heart. He said, "In a certain city there was a judge who neither feared God nor regarded man. And there was a widow in that city who kept coming to him and saying, 'Vindicate me against my adversary.' For a while he refused, but afterward he said to himself, 'Though I neither fear God nor regard man, yet because this widow bothers me, I will vindicate her, or she will wear me out by her continual coming.' And the Lord said, 'Hear what the unrighteous judge says. And will not God vindicate his elect, who cry to him day and night? Will he delay long over them? I tell you, he will vindicate them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?' Mm. I feel like I skipped a line or something. Oh, no, I didn't. That was a good one. Ha, 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 ha. 1 to 8. Okay. First book of Samuel, chapter 1, verse 27. First book of Samuel. Samuel. Here it is. Chapter 1, verse 27. Was it chapter 1? Yeah, chapter 1. Chapter 1, verse 27. All right. Here it is. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition which I made to him. Therefore I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he is lent to the Lord, and they worship the Lord there. Hannah also prayed and said, my heart exults in the Lord. My strength is exalted in the Lord. My mouth derides my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. Very nice. That's what's up. I know I'm reading a little more than I said I would. Chapter 10, one more. Luke chapter 10, verse 42. Chapter 10, verse 42. One thing is needful. Mary has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken away from her. That was it. Luke chapter 10, verse 42. Very good. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Thank you very much. So, I guess we're going to end this live stream. Thank you very much, guys, and please like and subscribe. Thank you to Pods. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Sure. Thank you, Raman. Thank you, Slendy. Thank you, Angelique. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael Scott. Thank you. Thank you, Holly Woodland. Thank you, Pastry Mason. Thank you, Vilmer. Thank you, everyone who came here to my live stream. I really appreciate you guys. So let me see here. Thank you, Truth Lover. Thank you, Pac-Man. Thank you, Michael Scott. Did I just say thank you, Michael Scott? Well, thank you again. And gosh, I feel like I'm missing someone. Well, I'm not going to be able to name you all, but thank you, James Perry. Yes, James Perry, if you're still here, my Discord is right down, it's pinned in the chat here, and you could absolutely join. It's Emerald, like the gemstone, _, wing, like the butterfly wing, _ 13473. Emerald _ wing _ 13473. Yeah, a lot of things can also be interpreted in various ways throughout the Bible. People are gonna cherry pick. I mean, people do that, no matter what it is. If it's politics, religion, anything serious like that, They cherry pick. People cherry pick. And it's, you know, it's good to try to practice, you know, objectivity. You're a very sweet person. Thank you, 2 Pods. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people cherry pick. All right. Take care, guys. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in a bit, okay? Bye now. Wait. Sorry. You have a good rest of your night, Anne. I hope you get your live streaming chat figured out on your game. Me too, man. Me too. I'm gonna look up some better instructions, you know. It shouldn't be that difficult. I can't sing to save my life. I wish I could. You have a good night too, Yumi Ishikawa. All right. Peace, guys. Much love.